We have this mobile PCB received from another shop. So the mobile PCB is water damage, and if you take a good look at the device, you will see that the phone has a new display. I did not try to know exactly why the display was replaced, but yeah, the phone is not powering on. So as we normally do, we are going to open the phone. We are going to dismantle the phone, and I think the first thing we have to remove the back cover. Okay, as you can see, we have access to dismantle the phone from here. We are going to do that right away. So let's see, because it's a water damage mobile PCB, yeah, we are just going to see what we can do. First, let's connect it to our charger and see how it's behaving before we go on up. So open it. Even though just connecting it, I'm just connecting it to my charger just to see how it's behaving. Even though I'm still going to open it, but let's just connect it first, then see. Let me just connect it here and see. So what we are going to do, let's go on then open the phone and see, because there are times that it might show that current run. You will think the phone is charging normal. Meanwhile, even without the battery, you will still see that current draw, which in such cases, it's going to be a current leakage. So that's why when you see that type of reading, the phone acting as if it's charging normal, you just have to go on, open the phone, disconnect the battery, connect the charger again, and see if the phone is going to consume that current. So like I said, they already worked on it. If you take a look, you can see that that's clear already. Okay, you can see clearly they removed the shield and put it back and soldered the shield back. So okay, so this is the first thing that we are going to do. We disconnect the battery to connect the phone on charge and see if you will see that current consumption again. Nope, we are not getting the current consumption again. We are getting 0.3. So that's quite normal in some PCBs. Some PCBs will consume this little current without even connecting the battery. So it seems we have to get access to the PCB first. Okay, here we have the PCB. This shield was removed completely, and we have the clipping shield here with the clipping covers. You can actually remove this without heating up, but this one is different. I wonder how the circuit was when they removed the shield, but yeah, we are going to see to that. So first, what do I have to do? I set my multimeter will set my multimeter there. That's continuity test mode. I perform a pole testing. My red probe goes to the ground like I always do, and I test the positive side of the battery connector. That's 328 ohm, and that's okay for the VBAT line. Keep in mind, as I said, for the VBAT line doesn't mean that the PCB is okay. Even if there is a short maybe in the VPH line, you are still going to get a normal reading in the VBAT. So this is just to check and see if the primary section of the mobile PCB is reading okay, and the reading is okay. Yeah, so you will have to connect this to our DC power supply, then see how it's reading. So what we are going to do now, we are going to connect the PCB to our DC power supply. So I will just solder two cables. So we have the GND cable soldered to the GND, and then we have the VBAT. Let me take a look carefully. Yeah, we have the VBAT soldered to the VBAT, and yeah, just like that, we have two cables soldered to the PCB. So what we are going to do here, I will set my DC power supply reading to 4.2. So let me just show you my DC power supply. That's 4.2 reading, and we have the arm set to 5. 5 is okay, so don't worry about that. We have 4.2 volt. So I will connect. That's the black probe, and we have the red probe here. So from the reading, since the phone has a problem with the CPU, maybe just open circuits. Let me just show you. So I will try switching it on again so that you will see how the phone is behaving. You will see the trigger. So as you guys see, the arm is going up to 0.160. So I'm still pressing the power button. So if I leave the power button, you will see that it's going to stop. So the phone is actually doesn't have a stable trigger, and if you see, just with a single tap, it goes up to 1 something. So this is definitely a problem with the CPU open circuit, and also it can also be the power IC not supplying voltages correctly, maybe due to a damaged component or open circuit also in the power manager IC. But with that reading, the CPU will need reballing. I don't know if it has a double mount CPU, but the CPU will need reballing. And before I go into the CPU, it's a water damage phone, which means that the problem can be coming from any section. So I will have to check the PCB step by step before I reach to the level of the CPU. So we will have to observe the PCB well before we go on checking the CPU, you have to observe the power IC section. You will observe the power IC section before, and the charging IC section. Observe everything in the PCB before getting into work on the CPU. So I will remove the first shield. This shield, the other technician removed this shield, so that will be the first one for me to remove, then observe the area. So if in case you are watching, like especially when we were reading triggering the phone, then reading from our DC power supply, if you are wondering how I get to tell where the problem might be coming from, that's because I know the boot sequence of mobile phones. I know the numbers, the current consumption, and what components are consuming a certain voltage, and because of that I'm able to tell where fault reading, and I'm able to tell that this specific reading is caused by this and I need to check this section. And also anyone who has gone through my professional level course will know this, because I teach that in my professional level course. So I will observe this under my microscope to see what's going on. Looking at the PCB, you will see that that area is okay. I think this happened when the other technician was removing the shield. So I had to remove that shield of the charging section to observe to see if there is any water corrosion in the PCB, and as you can see, everything is clean. And here we have the processing section, which includes the CPU and the EMMC, and it looks good. Yeah, it clearly shows that there was water inside this area. And just observe, clean everything, then go on with what we are planning to do. Yes, that's the charging IC, I think. And here we have the power manager IC section, and also it's clean. So what I want us to do now, I just want us to go on then reball the CPU. If possible, we will also reball the EMMC. So I'm going to tape the EMMC. I'm just going to tape it so that heat won't affect it when I'm working on the CPU. So I use this tape so that it will block the heat when I'm working on the CPU. Okay, so we can start the CPU work right now. Okay, let's see the temperature. So when I'm removing a CPU of an Android phone like this, I'm always like, okay, what if I don't get the stencil? Because even though I have a lot of stencils, there are still times that I'm going to remove, and I will see that I don't have the stencil. And not all types of CPUs can work with a universal stencil. Even if it can work, it's always a lot of work, and it doubles the work. Well, we have the CPU that we want to reball here. So we will just go on and clean the PCB. So I just go on, then clean the solder parts of the PCB. So this type of things you have to do them slowly. You don't have to rush at all. You don't have to rush at all. And these are the type of things that you get perfect in while doing practice. The more you work, that's the more you get perfect in doing this type of stuff. So it doesn't matter who your mentor is, how good he or she is, you will always get perfect by doing practice on your own when it comes to this. So when you are looking at those components, making sure you don't wipe off any components. As you can see, we have this huge solder here. That's how you take it off. Okay. So once everything is clean, as you can see, you take a look at the solder part, then see if we still have some sections there that you will need to touch with solder. So you see sections like this, you need to retouch them with solder. If not, when you reball, there is a possibility that some of them are not going to connect with the solder balls in the IC. So I just put that. And that's it. And also when it comes to micro soldering, A lot of people are always asking me, what can they do if their hands are shaking, that their hands are shaking? How can they do micro soldering? Yeah, I can tell that most people have shaky hands. Even me, I also have shaky hands. So when you do, that should be one of the reasons why you should be very careful when working. Take your time and avoid working when people are looking at you. Someone like me, I'm not really that good with social, so I have that kind of social anxiety. That's why I always work when places are quiet. So if you are that type of person, even if you have a public shop, when it comes to micro soldering work, you can always do them at night. If you don't work at night, then you should try make your working place secure your working place in such a way that people are not going to see you when you are working. So if you have shaky hands, it's going to be very hard for you to work while people are looking at you, because this happens when you are kind of nervous. It's not like it's because you don't know what you are doing. You know what you are doing, but you are kind of nervous just because there are people looking at you. Because the way that I'm working now, I cannot work the same way especially if just one random person stands here and start looking at what I'm doing. I won't be able to work. So that's it. Yeah, that looks okay. So let's work on the chip itself. The solder of the chip, and then the next thing will be to do reballing. So when you are doing this, you have to do clean so that you will see all the solder parts. Well, see the ones that you have to work on. Okay. You see these brown areas, these are sections that if you just go on to reball the IC now, you will see that solder is not going to attach to those particular points. So that's why I said it's always good to clean. Then take a look at sections like this, then see how you can work on them. There is one piece that I see they're using. Most Chinese guys are using online now. Just like when you just use it here, it's going to easily clean off this area. But I don't have that piece, so I do it manually like this. I do it manually just like this. So you need to use soldering paste when you are doing this, so that everything will be clean. And when you do that and you see that everything looks clean, then you use your soldering wick to clean everything again. So you will be cleaning now for the last time. Just do this for the last time. You don't have to use force, if not you are going to damage the IC solder part. So you do it just slowly. Okay, I think everything is good now. So let's go on and clean the IC and go on to make the solder balls using our stencil. So I don't know for now if I have the stencil for this. I just hope I do, because using a universal stencil is like kind of boring for real. Especially as you can see, this is consider the IC have some space in between the solder balls, and when you are using a universal stencil, you will need to take more time, just because I think you do understand. Okay, everything is good to revolve. I'm just taking a look at the solder parts to see. Okay, perfect. So I have a lot of stencils here, and luckily I got the specific stencil for tonight. You need to change now. Tonight the music seems so loud. When we could be sound, baby, it's better. So when you heat up the solder balls, and there are times that you might want to separate it from the stencil, and you will notice that maybe one pin is missing, like not connected. That's why I always remove it slowly, so that because at times if I notice that one is missing, I can just put it back like this, then heat it up. I can remove it completely, then put it manually. Now it's time to reball the CPU. As you can see, I'm putting the paste. I always like to put the paste just a little bit, so that when I'm putting the IC, mounting the IC, it won't be going up and down. So I put that little paste just like that, and I position the IC. So if you're someone who doesn't have stable hands, you should position the IC perfectly before you start hitting it. So that's what I do. I position it, then I turn the IC around looking at the corners. You can see those little lines. You need to make sure that the IC is in between the little lines, and which means that it's well positioned. So I did that, hit the IC, and the phone did not switch on, but it was acting differently. So after reballing the CPU, pressing the power key, I noticed the current will go up to 150, then come back to 90, and will be stuck at 90. So that showed that okay, there is surely an open circuit in the EMMC as well. That's the EMMC that I'm working on here. And I made the EMMC solder balls using a stencil, as you can see, just like that, and very smooth. And you just remove it just like that. Don't forget to send me a message on WhatsApp or get my courses directly from the video description, pin comment, or the link on my bio if you are watching this on TikTok. So this is time to mount the EMMC. So I did the same thing that I did when I was mounting the CPU. Place it position, then hit everything up just like that, and very smooth. So when I was done hitting everything up, it's time to test and see how everything is. So when you press the power key, the phone vibrates and no display. So I called the other technician. He told me that he can only bring a display next week. But if you listen, you will hear a boot up sound. You get that? So that's the boot up sound. That shows that the phone is actually powering up. Now, because when you press it, it's going to vibrate, and after some time, it's going to make a sound showing that it's booting up. So I want to connect it to my PC so that we can check through the device manager. If the phone is on, we will know the phone is going to detect it on MTP mode. So I'm just going to connect that, then we check our device manager. That's the phone being detected. As you can see, MTP USB device. So any technician should know that this phone is actually on the home screen at this point. So everything is good. I'm just waiting for next week for the other technician for the technician who gave me the phone to bring a screen so that I can connect test. If doesn't display, then I can check the display that time. So as you can see, it's a new display in the phone, like I said in the beginning of the video. So if there is anything, I'm going to check, but I think that the problem is the display at this point. So it was a successful work.